Today's meme of the day is...
Wait.
So, I think it's pretty safe to say, people, last year's Death Battle's best episode was Bowser vs. Eggman.
For sure.
Like, as much as I would like to put Fall Guys vs. Among Us up there, because that's even one me and my mum enjoyed, because she loves Fall Guys. She's probably playing it right now. But what made Bowser vs. Eggman more unique is the fact we got another army death battle. And funny enough, it's with Eggman again.
Yeah.
Now, you could make...
I mean, would you count Ultron Sigma?
Really, their armies were more like a background thing.
I mean, yeah, true.
Like, I guess the closest you could say before Bowser vs. Eggman that we got an army death battle was the Reds and Blues, but they're not really an army, more like a squadron.
Yeah, that's more of a team fight.
Yeah. But we kind of talked about this behind. We've had a lot of controversial episodes and some hot take episodes. Let's actually have a fun one again. And we thought, is there any armies we would like to see in Death Battle? Do we have any army matchups? I have an army matchup in mind that I'll save for a second, because there is one army I want to see in Death Battle, but I'm not sure what they could do for it. And but my first one I want to discuss, and then we'll kind of do what we usually do: we go to May, then go to Sean, and back to me.
I only have the one, so...
Oh, really? I thought you would have more. Well, so when it comes to, like, army battles, I kind of wanted to do, like, this small one is relatively from a series that, honestly, hasn't seen the light of day in so many years. But I kind of want to see an XCOM death battle.
Okay.
So, some people may be like, what the hell's XCOM? You might have heard of the saying, Soul-like games. When XCOM gained its reboot series on the PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360, they had this game called XCOM Enemy Within, which is a remake of an old PC game. When I mean old, I mean old. It was basically an Earth defense game where you played as this secret government that was funded by all the countries of the world to band together to deal with an extraterrestrial threat. Hence the name XCOM. So you played as a small squadron of soldiers that had to investigate alien sightings, and big shocker, these aliens were planning a secret invasion. So you were kind of fighting this invisible war. And how, as much as I would say go with the original game, the game kind of goes all over the place. One point you fight aliens, the sequel you're fighting undersea aliens, and then in the future you're just basically a police force, which kind of how the reboot goes with given the Chimera Squad. But I maybe kind of think like XCOM are also one of those soldiers where, or those organizations that don't have a large amount of resources. They're kind of the underdog in all these wars. In the first game, they didn't expect an alien invasion, then when it happened, they had like the most basic weaponry to deal with aliens with lasers. In the sequel, the canonical ending where you lose the war, sorry mate, it turns out all those resources and soldiers you lost meant nothing.
Right.
You basically had to start from scratch. You no longer had a government funded because the government got rebranded into an alien government. So
Event took over, and then you were on your own.
And yeah, you were basically, well, completely, you didn't have any of your, like, at least in the first game, you had jet planes, you had, like, you did have a decent amount of, like, funding. In the sequel, though, you were pretty much Guerrilla Squad. Like, you didn't have your base, you didn't have your badass armor, you didn't have, telekinesis powers, or Psychonic, I can't remember, it's been a while since I played those. It would be kind of interesting to yeah, so I would really want to see, like, okay, we've always had armies that are really powerful, but what about an army that is, like, underpowered? Like, you know, they've had to kind of build up their arsenal to take on these alien threats. In terms of a matchup for them, though, I really don't have one, because the problem is, I was thinking maybe the UNSC. The problem with that is, though, they're kind of going up against a government that is like, well, funded. It's like putting a group of air shooters up against an actual military. It's like, similar skills, but one's clearly got the better arsenal.
I mean, Spartans exist.
That's the other thing as well. Like XCOM, aside their psionic soldiers, they don't really have any super soldiers. So that's the thing I'm kind of struggling with this one. Like the other matchup I could maybe think of is the Rebel Alliance from Star Wars, because they were, again, they were a government that they were an organization that wasn't as funded as like the Empire. The problem is though the Rebels have Jedi, so once again, kind of like,
yeah,
they're still pretty overpowered compared to XCOM. But yeah, that's my first army fight. Like a group that spent ages being the underdogs in every single war because their governments couldn't be to give them the budget to fight in intergalactic space, and a big shocker like, oh my goodness, this secret organization couldn't defeat these aliens. Yeah, maybe if you gave us more tanks, maybe an extra airship so we could send more soldiers. I'm not even kidding, they were literally only given one airship to send 6 soldiers. It's like, really? You guys couldn't afford another helipad for us? Like, I don't know, just 2 more would have helped. But yeah, that's my first army fight. I guess, mate, do you want to give your only one? Your only matchup?
Yeah, appropriate.
You're living up to the name.
Well, okay, I don't know if I have a matchup for it. I used to, but I've been, well, more since put off. So Salem in Ruby. Yeah, let's, like, I don't know, I just feel like, bringing in her, armies, could be cool, like, all the different kinds of, Grim, like, you've got, like, obviously you've got, like Beowulfs, ones that look like animals, are just, like, big and raw and stuff. Then you've got ones like the Apathy that mess with, like, their prey emotionally, like, they make them so apathetic they just die. You get possession ones like the Chill that can, like, possess people and turn them into grimmified zombies. Or the Nightmare that traps them in their dreams. And then there's, like, the big ones like the Godzilla-sized Leviathan or the Sea Feilong, the Hound if they want to bring that in. And of course, like, her underlings, like, you could have Hazel, like, juicing himself up with dust. You could have Tyrion running around murdering fools and, well, cackling like the Joker. I think there's a lot of fun to be had there.
Okay.
Plus, while Tyrion and Light might not have, like, a popular matchup, this is a way of getting them in.
If I could throw a suggestion into this one, how about the demons from Doom? I recently played the Dark Ages, so we kind of have a character that's similar to Salem. So it's like, they mostly use a beastly-like army, so why not the Doom demons versus the Grim?
Maybe.
Yeah, I won't spoil the story of, like, the Dark Ages in case people haven't seen it. I will admit, story-wise, it's pretty mid. Gameplay-wise, though, yes! I might have been enjoying a bit of the Dark Ages after the latest death battle.
Freaking chainsaw shield.
Yeah. But I mean, I also say, like, hold off on Salem because, well, I don't think we've seen, like, the full extent of her magic.
I don't think we've seen any extent of her magic. As far as I'm aware, I'm not sure if any spin-offs might have shown it.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously, like, scaling from the Maidens, and we know she is more powerful than they are. Well, like, now we need to see Salem in action more.
Agreed. Not a bad idea, really, because I guess similar to Eggman, we get to judge, like, her minions and the Grim, because the Grim are one of the best aspects of Ruby, like, how creative they are, the designs. pardon me. To this day, though, I still want a T-Rex grim, man. Come on, Kruby, man. That would be so metal.
Yeah. There is the one that won like the community pitch, the silverfish. Like they're little tiny ones that like group up together and make a massive monster.
Oh, that would be sick. It's like the hunters from Halo.
Yeah, it is pretty sick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to criticize like the Grim they do have. They have some cool Grim. I still love the Hound Grim. I'm so sad they killed it off. You introduce a really cool Grim and you kill it so quickly.
I mean, there might be more.
Maybe, but I don't know. I was very disappointed in how they handled it. But can you imagine like
Salem said it was an experiment, and she's been looking for silver-eyed people, so...
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Still, can you imagine like a T-Rex Grim, but then it reveals it has like dragon-like wings? Like, can you imagine that?
Just like the Wyvern.
Yeah, it would be so cool. Any more ideas you kind of have for this, well, mostly this idea of like Salem's army?
I think I like more so giving my piece, and also I guess hearing Wiz and Boomstick, talk about like the story behind Salem and whatnot could be interesting. Yeah, because it really just came from like, oh, she was trapped in this prison for so long, got freed by someone she fell in love with, then he died, and that felt really unfair to her. Which, to be fair, it kind of was. Life's a bitch.
And she just needed a Rafiki in her life to hit her over the head with a stick. Says, doesn't matter, it's in the past. I do apologize for that accent, people.
And then the gods punish her by making her a morsel. Making her, like, well, her life, her prison.
Brothers are kind of assholes.
Name a fiction or mythology where the gods aren't assholes.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's got you there.
I mean, true.
You didn't expect a Jesus card. No one ever expects a Jesus card. I don't know why I'm making it sound like some sort of Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I activate my Jesus card.
What does that do? I instantly win the game.
With love and friendship. So do you want to throw the baton to Sean, mate, or do you have anything more to add?
Sean, I'm throwing it to you.
Okay, what's funny is I didn't have a matchup for something I thought of because I was replaying a game called Gears Tactics, and then as you two talked about it, I figured I solved it with two birds with one stone. So for Bill's idea, why not have the cogs from Gears of War?
Ah, Cogs versus XCOM. I mean, they did release a game which was made with the XCOM style.
I replayed that recently, and it's pretty fun.
It's pretty good.
Characters are actually like... And Jesus Christ, some of the weaponry the cogs have, like the Hammer of Dawn.
Best weapon in the game, yet the most inconsistent.
Boomstick would just fan over the freaking Lancer's chainsaw ability.
Oh my god, yeah. Even Bill Gates, when he saw that, he actually got excited when he saw that. He had to talk to the game developer and said, that was a really awesome gun. Yes, the head of Microsoft saw the test footage and was like, yes, just yes. I mean, who thinks of that? Chainsaw with a machine gun.
And well, hearing May talk about Salem, we can go to the other side of this perspective on Gears Cogs. Have Salem fight the Horde Queen! Because they both make their armies with God knows what. And they even have, like, recognizable general characters.
It's kind of like magic versus science, but more like engineering, because the Locusts kind of use, like, engineering and stuff like that.
Some of the
that could be something Watts could hack.
I don't think he can hack it's more like industrial stuff, so it's not like digital technology.
Oh, so it's manual, not programmed.
Yeah.
Like Walnut.
And,
Sorry, the grubs.
Some of the locust enemies are bizarre. Like I just did the Bruxton fight. And apparently Horde Queen was like, let's give this thing a rocket launcher and 2 machine guns on one on each hand.
I love the Brumok. They're my favorite locust enemies.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I don't have a suggestion for either of these, but it'd be cool to see. And then the last thing I was I'm like, there we go. That's how we solve it. We kind of made it work ourselves. Wow, way to go, everybody.
It came full circle.
Yeah. Plus, like, I think Gears lore is just interesting. We're getting a prequel game of the Gears series as well, so I think having something from that franchise would be pretty damn cool.
And the Gears of War's coming to PlayStation as well, and it's going to be cross-play.
Yeah. And of course, there's just the Horde Queen story throughout, like, the first 3 games as well. Like, they tease her, and then you actually see her in the 3rd game.
Second game, actually.
Second game. But, like, she was, like, hinted at in a lot of, like, the Gears games.
Yeah, because the first game she narrates the war against the humans. Then the second game you see her at the end of, like, I think it was Act 4. But then the third game she becomes not only a boss, she's also playable in the multiplayer. And I guess I have a thing for mole monsters because goddamn, that lady be fine.
Yeah, so I kind of now like the concept of Salem versus the Horde Queen in a weird way.
Yeah, it actually sounds kind of cool. Like beastly monsters versus semi-intelligent creatures. Yeah, I actually kind of like it. And on top of that as well, like XCOM versus the Gears, because similar to the XCOM, after the Hammer of Dawns like laid waste to the city, a lot of the Gears kind of had to improvise, like, you know, because their governments kind of got blown up by giant space lasers. So literally, one character got put on an assassination mission. He was like, "Wait, do I even get an army?" He's like, "No, I just improvise." It's like, you put me on an assassination mission, you're not giving me the weaponry to kill him. He's like, "You figure it out."
Yeah, again, that was in Gears Tactics again.
Ah, it was.
But hey, to be fair, the main character's name is Gabe. At least Gabe is like a competent character, at least.
Yeah, true. Sid is broken if you level him up early. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool to have like either the Cogs or like the Locust with the Horde Queen in an army kind of fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough.
Is that all you got to say, Sean, or do you have one more to say after I've said my one?
I have another one to say after yours, so I'm going to pass it on to Bill.
Yeah, I'll be quick with the matchup I have in mind, because there's not much I can really say about it, but the next one I'll have a lot to say about. So, I was thinking about Battle Royale fights, and once again, I was replaying Fire Emblem Three Houses, and the main plot of that game was basically the main character you play as, is the one that has to guide, you know, your faction. And if it wasn't for Byleth, like, whatever side Byleth joins, they win. One, because, you know, gameplay. But two, it's also because Byleth influences a lot of the lords to, you know, come back into the light and not pursue, like, a dark path. Like, Dimitri, if you don't side with him, he's completely pursued by vengeance to the point he'll sacrifice his whole kingdom. Edelgard becomes a tyrant unless you guide her back into wanting to help people in this war. Clyde tries to abandon his army to, you know, because he's losing a war, because his army's nowhere near as powerful, to the point he would abandon his friends. But Byleth manages to help him, like, guide his army. Made me kind of think, if none of these armies had Byleth, which one would come out on top? None of them have that teacher that guides them, that helps them choose their pathway. Depending on which route you take, the characters and units gain canonical classes. Unlike with Dimitri, where you can, you know, choose what abilities he learns. Without Byleth, they just kind of get their canonical classes. So it's like, that would be kind of interesting. You know, the Blue Lions, the Golden Deer, and the Black Eagles. Without Byleth, who would come out on top? The Bloodlust Dimitri, the tyrannical Edelgard, or the cowardly Claude? I think that we can all agree Golden Deers are definitely not winning this Battle Royale because, like I said, you know, Claude, when the going gets tough, he kind of abandons his kingdom. Whereas Dimitri and Edelgard will
King of
continue.
chicken.
Yeah, whereas Dimitri, I mean, hell, his class kind of like goes with that more. He's a bow and arrow user, so it's like, yeah, he clearly wants to keep a distance. Whereas Edelgard and Dimitri, though, they will fight to the end, as proven by their endings. So it's like, that would be kind of interesting, though, to see like which classes and which one of their units would actually come out on top. Honestly, I have no more to say to that. I just think that concept alone is enough. Now, in terms of my final army, though, it might surprise a lot of people. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Audible gasp.
And yeah, I'm not even going to try to build this up because we've already had this character death battle. Let's get Sauron's army involved. Like, all of Mordor in both the books, video games, and movies, the armies of Mordor are terrifying for a good reason. Because they have monsters, they have the Uruk-hai, orcs, they have a lot going for them.
There's also the Nazguls, isn't there?
Nazguls, the drakes, dragons, witches, and especially if you go into novels, he even has a lot more in his army. And honestly, because, yeah, even though Sauron is a beast in combat, in most of the books and, well, the movies, Sauron's, you know, watching from a distance because his army is single-handedly tearing apart all of Mordor and Middle-earth. So it comes a case of, like, you know, which, like, have the orcs fighting an army, the monsters getting involved. But this is where I'm coming into saying, like, I don't know what matchup to do. You could argue we could get the Lich King and his army in for a rematch. I don't think the outcome's going to change, though. It would be cool to see, but I feel like it would just be treading the same ground.
Yeah.
That sounds like something a Bad versus show would do. Like, yeah, we did this matchup, but if you want to see us do it again, but with this, then like and subscribe.
I know the channel you're referencing, and I'm actually scared to wonder if
What
there's
channel?
still a thing. Yeah, let's not know. Sean, give us a fake channel name as a reference.
How about Borga?
I just like to imagine how your brain works when you come up with these. You just go like, booga. It's like,
I hope someone makes an
Borga.
account with that name and comments on this video.
Called Borga.
Do you know what's funny you mention that, mate? I remember years ago when I played Parasite Eve, and I named Eve, and I just called it Blarg. A few months later, I found out there was a YouTube channel called Blog. It's like, how does that happen? But yeah, like, I feel as though with a character like Sauron, because yes, he is one of those people that influences his army, and, you know, he manipulates other armies into becoming weaker and destroying them. And even in terms of all-out fight, Sauron would lead his army into battle. I remember in the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor DLC, when you actually get to fight him, he did the best fuck you, I win moment. So, against Celebrimbor, he spent the whole game taking all of Sauron's, like, leaders of his army, and then he grabs Celebrimbor and goes, "Arrogant fool, do you really think you can match my power? What's yours has always been mine!" And without the ring, he just summons his army back to him. And they're just like, "Hey, we're no longer brainwashed. Kill the elf!" Like, he had his ring stolen, and he still pretty much just went, "Yeah, I'm still gonna take my army back." So, like, I love that moment.
Damn, man.
Like, he's straight like, "What's yours has always been mine," and all your army turns against you, and you have to refight these bosses at the same time. And even a more big you, after you kill them all, Sauron comes back and is just like, "Return to me," and he just resurrects all of them again and turns them into zombies. It's like, okay, it's like, at this point,
It's pretty cool, though.
yeah, it's like, at this point, why did you even bother just breaking the curse? These guys could just keep coming back. Well, until you behead them and then they're dead. But I still love that moment, like, you know, him just being like, "Oh, you took my army, how about I say no you?" It's like, but I have the one ring. And I'm Sauron, bitch. But yeah, it's one of those cases where I would love to see Sauron's on with the armies. If you either do the Lich King again and it just ends the same, but we get a cool fight, to be fair. But it's just treaded the same ground again, because I don't think either of these two have got any new material. Well, Sauron's got new material in the Rings of Power. I always choose to never acknowledge that. Ah, what'd you do to my boy? But in terms of army fights, I just don't know. Like,
I could say the one that I was thinking about for Salem, but I'd rather not.
fair enough. Like, I guess you could.
We got a better idea now from today, don't we?
Like, I guess with Sauron's on.
Or should I just say it and acknowledge why it's kind of like no?
I mean, I guess you can after I've finished my final idea, and then we'll go back to you and then back to Sean. Yeah, I guess my final say in terms of all my army matchups, you could maybe bring up the Orc army from Warhammer. I'm not sure how overpowered those guys are, but hey, it's the only Orc army I can think of. So, but overall, I just can't think of a really good.
Torok to leave a 5-paragraph comment on the orcs from Warhammer now.
Oh no, what have I done? Yeah, that's my final say. Yeah, I'd like to see the XCOM. I'd like to see the battle royale between the Lords of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and yeah, I'd just like to see Sauron come back with his army at some point. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. So, mate, do you want to bring up the matchup you had, or you got suggested? I'm assuming for Salem.
No, I thought about it, but I'm also like, yeah, maybe not. But it could also work for Sauron if you want.
Oh yeah.
Voldemort from Harry Potter.
Mate, do you really hate Voldemort?
And I love how
much?
it's a stunned silence. Well, not stunned, but like just immediate no.
Yeah, I'm just picturing like, I don't know, Voldemort just sends like, what were those weird? There weren't Nazgul. There was something else. There were like those weird like.
Dementor.
Yeah, they just try and go up to a Nazgul, and the Nazgul just pretty much grab them and just go amateur, just blow them up. Because those guys compared to Nazgul, I've seen that as a request, the Nazgul versus those guys, and it's just like, mate, just one Nazgul could decimate a whole army of those guys. Seriously, the Nazgul are not something to grovel about. Yeah, the movie did kind of make him look weak by running away from a fire torch. But yeah, the novel Nazgul and a lot of adaptations, yeah, do not mess with the Nazgul. There's a reason they're Sauron's elite.
Yeah. I mean, one part of, like, bringing Voldemort in could be, like, kind of cool. Yeah, the Dementors, there's also, like, giant spiders that I think fight alongside him. They were in there in the last movie. Giants. Pretty much every wizard he has under his command knows the Killing Curse.
True.
Which, you know, is an instant kill.
Anytime I hear that phrase now, I just think about that doctor from Deadliest Warrior. The amount of times he said that was so annoying. Do it as a drinking game, people. Binge watch Deadliest Warrior Season 1 and take a shot every time the doctor says that's an instant kill.
Yeah. Plus, there's, like, Voldemort with his Horcruxes, like, making him hard to, like, put down. But here's also the reason they say let's not. J.K. Rowling.
Okay, I feel like that's a bit unfair, because, like... Okay, yeah, I know J.K. Rowling is a controversial person, but to not include her character just because she's a piece of crap does feel a little...
It's a case of separating the artist from the art, I guess.
Yeah, because by that
logic... I guess. I just understand it being, like, a big off-put, especially considering, like, she basically wears her controversies like a badge of honor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but at the same time, like, you know, by that logic, we shouldn't include any Ruby characters because the controversy behind Rooster Teeth. I mean, I know they're known by Viz now, but you get what I'm saying. We shouldn't allow Halo to come in because of the controversy of Microsoft. And for God's sake, if we include any PlayStation character, Sony. That's all I need to say.
That also applies to Spider-Man.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I was getting at.
I mean, I guess. Also, hey, I'm also just gonna throw this out there. Yeah, either way, Voldemort's army fucking dies.
Yeah, they're not competing with just Sauron alone, to be honest.
Yeah, or Salem for that matter.
Yeah, I don't think Voldemort's walking out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically Wizard Hitler, so would anyone complain?
True. I guess we shall let Sean have the last say about an army fight or matchup.
Sure. I wasn't sure if you had anything else you wanted to add.
Is there any more you want to add, mate?
Nah.
So, the last one I thought of, we talked about it before. It's a commission track matchup, but I think it would make more sense if it's their forces, technically speaking. Handsome Jack versus General Ironwood, of course.
A lot of Ruby matchups.
Well, I thought of this one ever since we talked about the topic. It was like, I think it would make sense to have Jack and his like Hyperion-made forces, like Ironwood and the Atlas military.
That'd be all the soldiers and the... Wait, would that include the Aesops?
Yeah, and then you would be able to give Jack Angel, which is his actual daughter, who actually does some...
Oh, wait. I just realized that'd also include Winter and Penny.
Yeah, no, too bad for Ironwood, he still loses.
Yeah, Borderlands gets very borderline crazy.
Borderline crazy, but it'd still be fun to see like man versus machine type of deal. Of course, always a fun gimmick.
I mean, if we had to just judge this matchup based on who's the better villain, yeah, Handsome Jack. I've never played the games, but Jesus Christ, just the dialogues that I've heard for him are just amazing.
I have a diamond encrusted horse. Name's Butt Stallion.
Oh God, just...
Yeah, no, that's an actual thing in Borderlands 2.
I know, just Handsome Jack. Like, first of all, his name's Handsome Jack. Like, how more egotistical can you get?
He was handsome at one point, and then the pre-sequel happened. He got punched by a siren.
As you do.
The reason why they fight could be very interesting too, because both Ruby and the Borderlands series have things called vaults. Oh.
Huh. Now I just kind of want to throw Fallout in there as well.
There's an easy setup right there. Oh yeah. No, we threw Courier 6 in. Like, Courier 6 walks away with, like, no injuries whatsoever.
Yeah, seriously, Courier is a freaking badass.
And you have a weapon that throws mini nukes out like it's candy.
Fallout is... What is with Bethesda games making their characters so stupid overpowered?
Because they're RPGs, that's what.
True.
No, I think it'd be pretty fun to have Handsome Jack and the Hyperion forces go against Ironwood and the Atlas army. It could be a lot of fun, and again, as Bill said, Handsome Jack is just that iconic of a video game villain.
Oh yeah, like I said, I've never played any of the Borderlands games, but I know Handsome Jack, and he's a pretty fun character.
It's like the fans who really loved Handsome Jack. It's kind of why Borderlands made the pre-sequel game, to expand on Jack's story.
Thank goodness he wasn't in the movie.
True.
Oh my god. I actually remember seeing that film. The only funny aspect of that film was Jack Black as Claptrap.
Yeah, no, Claptrap's always a hit because, like, he's the comedy relief character.
Yeah, and to be honest, Jack Black was the perfect character for him, or actor for him. It's like, honestly, you could have just made a movie about Claptrap and that would have been fine for me.
There was a DLC all about Claptrap in the pre-sequel, funny enough.
I mean, he's a good character. Like, you can't knock him.
Yeah. Still, I think it'd be really. Oh wait, that. I think technically Jack would have Claptrap if we did that.
Yes, I'm for this episode now. I'm 100% for it. Oh god, just have Claptrap interacting with Penny would be so wholesome yet also chaotic. Well, I'm just picturing
Claptrap trying to explain what dubstep is to Penny would be hilarious because he tried to do that to Brock Samson.
like all the other armies are fine in the background, and those two are just chilling playing cards, and he's like trying to explain dubstep, and she just goes, "I don't understand why dub needs to step anywhere." Like just.
Wait, so would Penny be like essentially Sage in that matchup where she lives?
Yeah, she like the battle's over depending on who wins, and they're both just in the background just playing cards. Oh, do you know what? A perfect joke you could do for that? Claptrap goes like, "Got any freeze?" And given the actress who plays this Penny, she goes, "Goldfish." Seriously, her actress is obsessed with fish. She loves them.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, I think that's the best matchup we've actually suggested for this one. Like, that's actually a really good idea. I like it.
Yeah, because like, there's a lot you could talk about with any sort of army fight, especially like when you dive deeper into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is that your way of moving on to our outro and our thoughts on this whole topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel as though that we could bring in like every army that we've probably seen in fiction, like the Separatists from Star Wars, the Galactic Empire. I don't know, the monsters from Undertale, but it's like it's definitely a lot harder coming up with army matches than one-on-one matches. Because you either create an army matchup where it's a complete stomp, Sauron versus Voldemort, for example, or you just create a matchup where it's like you're just not really sure if it's thematic enough. Like Bowser versus Eggman just had not only the rivalry theme of Mario versus Sonic, it's also the fact they just had so many things that countered one another. Like if you were to tell me King Boo could actually counter most of Eggman's like the reality warpers, I would be like, really? This guy that got beaten by a vacuum cleaner? And then he goes, "Thwomp go burr." Or actually, "Thwomp go urr."
Well, specifically for Infinite, at least.
Yeah, still the best gag they've ever done in a battle. Like, you have this character do this dramatic, like, "This power is without peer. It's the ultimate strength. Counter. Urr. It's like...
I mean, to be fair, at least Infinite took out a bunch of Bowser's generals.
True. I just love a character who gives such an epic speech just to get killed by the most embarrassing thing in the army. Like, that's the equivalent, I don't know, Darth Vader losing to Jar Jar Binks. Like, how embarrassing would that be?
Damn.
Well, I mean, Jar Jar is the one true Sith, so...
Oh, yeah, the fact they referenced that in one of the Lego Star Wars movies is hilarious. But, yeah, I think that's actually kind of an interesting aspect. Like, I do think army matchups are interesting when you can find that perfect theme. But a lot of times you are going to be struggling with a lot of them because you just got to counter, like, take into account so many things. But it's overall just fun to imagine these armies just clashing. Like, yeah, Sauron and Voldemort is one-sided, but how awesome is the imagery of, like, wizards charging into battle against orcs? Like, you can't lie and say that isn't epic visually.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, like, the whole, like, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like, comparisons and, like, quote-unquote rivalry there.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, my final say on this is like, you know what, army fights are cool, and I would like to hear any more matchups that you guys can suggest, or even we could come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that how we should end it off, guys? Are we all good? Do you have any final says?
I think I'm good.
I'm tired.
Well, I guess that's
You need to go to sleep then.
Well, I guess that's a good point to end on. Thank you all so much for watching, and hey, what did you think of the last death battle? What did you think of the next time, and what do you think about army matches? Do you have some suggestions? Leave them in the comments down below. With all that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to share the video around, keep the channel growing. Farewell, everybody.
Bye.
Also, no, chess versus checkers will never be an army fight. That fight is cringe.
Agreed.
Bye-bye!